And welcome back to Red Card. I'm your host, Anthony Totera. Once again, we welcome you all over the world, and we thank you so much for taking time out of your busy lives to join us here on Red Card. And as I said, without further ado, our special guest of the evening is Philadelphia Union player Conor Casey. Conor, welcome to Red Card, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you on. Conor, let's talk about this early season with a new team, the Philadelphia Union. You are a young team, a tough loss on the weekend against the New York Red Bulls, but you knew that they were going to come out hard, having not a great start themselves. But let's talk about this young Philadelphia team, Conor, and a guy with your veteran leadership helping these youngsters really start getting confident in themselves to believe in getting into the playoffs.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of the young guys have been here for a couple of years now, so they know what the league's about, and they have that experience as well, which is good because there's a lot of young guys that don't have that experience. So, being together for the last couple of years and adding some pieces this year, I think that we're all in really good shape in terms of picking up points and slowly working our way into playoff position.
Conor, let's talk about the city of Philadelphia. They haven't had too much to cheer about since they entered MLS, and you see a lot of the other new expansion teams that have come in that Pacific Northwest, like Portland, Seattle, and Vancouver have had success on the field and also in the stands. Can you feel it in the city of Philadelphia that they're just dying to see a winner there when it comes to the Union?
For sure. I mean, it's Philadelphia is a huge sports city, and they get behind the teams when they do well, and you hear about it when you don't do well. So I think everyone knows that and is embracing it, and is just really excited. We started the season pretty well, and we feel confident about what we have in our team, and we're really just excited to play from week to week. We got another one this weekend that we've been gearing up for, and really just taking it game by game.
Now, Conor, how has the adjustment been for you coming over from Colorado, where you were there for a good while, and winning a championship here in the city of Toronto, which I can never forget in that cold, cold night? How has the adjustment been for you on the field, but also off the field? I'm sure you've had to adapt and adjust in many ways as well.
It has. It's been great. I was with Colorado for 6 years, and that's my home. It's been a good change. It's been nice. It was needed. I was very happy to come to Philadelphia, and John, the coaching staff, has been great in receiving me and getting me here. And from a lifestyle standpoint too, it's nice to kind of live somewhere different for a while and get a little bit of a new perspective.
I got to be honest, Conor. To me, I see this as a challenge for you to really show people that you still have a lot to offer and to bring to the table, and especially to this young team. And you know how to win. You've done it in so many levels. And I think a guy like you with a new challenge can bring a lot to the table in a club, in a city that desperately needs it.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that's what I hope to do. I obviously have some injuries, but I'm just really excited to be back playing. And with this group of guys as well, they have a lot of potential. And I think the sky's really the limit for the team in general. I don't think anyone's necessarily expecting a whole lot from us from the start of the season, so it's kind of a nice position to be in where we can just go out and enjoy playing and attack each game.
Conor, I don't know about you, but to me, the surprise team this year has been Chivas USA. And unfortunately, their fan support has not been there to witness how good they've been early on. Who have you been impressed with early on this year?
Well, obviously, they started well. Montreal has started really well. But, you look at the teams that have been, consistent in Houston and in LA. And those teams are always, have kind of really set the benchmark over the last few years in terms of success, and that's something that I think that a lot of teams aspire to, is having that consistently playing well, consistently performing.
Conor, it's got to be hard for a guy like yourself and many guys that have been around the league for a few years to adjust week in and week out from grass fields to turf fields. It's got to take a toll on the body. I mean, how is the league starting to look at where it should be all grass fields and really trying to eliminate the turf fields? Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't, but I'm with you on that one. It's they've definitely done away with it, and some Salt Lake used to have one, New York used to have one, so they're making the right progress. Obviously, it would be great to see grass fields everywhere, and hopefully within the next couple of years, maybe that'll be the case. So it's definitely it's definitely a lot better for the players, for the fans, for everybody involved.
I think MLS, Conor, it's safe to say, has come a long way since the early days, where now you're seeing players like Keane and Beckham and Landon Donovan and Marco Di Vaio in Montreal, and the list goes on and on. This has got to be great, especially for the young American, the young Canadian player, if they're good enough to play on one of these teams, to have the opportunity to play alongside some of these guys and learn.
Definitely. I mean, when I was growing up, when I was little, there wasn't even a league, and then it was in its infancy when I was in my teenage years. So it's been great to see the progress that's happened. It's really amazing what they've done in a short amount of time, and now you have so many big names coming over, and kids that can really feel it and touch it and are close to those type of players and that type of professional league.
Conor, you played in Europe. You've played here in North America now. I need to tap into your experience, your wealth of knowledge of the game at the grassroots level when it comes to development of that American player, even that Canadian player, especially being in Europe like you did. What do you see that player in Europe is doing still that we here in North America, the player, still needs to do a lot more of? Is it a day-to-day really consistency of training and really focusing on what they need to work on? Or is it more of a professional attitude in the young mind of the North American player to get where that European player is?
Well, I think that we've made big strides in terms of the youth programs in MLS clubs. They've really only started in the last few years, and they're playing a little bit of catch up, obviously, compared to the teams in Europe. And in North America in general, there's that's really the only sport in Europe is soccer. So that's something that every kid grows up with. And here it's maybe a little bit differently, but we're definitely catching up quick. And I think it's just a matter of giving the kids the opportunity and the time to be able to improve.
Conor, it must have been an awesome feeling that first time you got called up to play for Team USA and put on that jersey. And today you see that Jurgen Klinsmann and his squad are trying to qualify for Brazil 2014. And how CONCACAF has changed, Conor. I think for the first time in a long time, I've followed CONCACAF, I've worked in it, it's wide open. And you see smaller countries like Panama, Costa Rica, even Jamaica, really bringing it each and every game to try and qualify. How great is it now, finally, for the longest time, for CONCACAF nations to get the respect they've warranted all over the world?
Yeah, it is really incredible how close all the games are, and how really it used to be just maybe 3 or 4 teams that you would think would come out of the group, and now there's a lot more. It's become a lot more competitive, and also makes it a lot easier on countries like us in Canada to qualify. So it's always a very big challenge.
Conor, let's talk about very quickly before we let you go. We really appreciate your time. You're getting ready to take on the Columbus Crew. Here is a team that really is an offensive-minded team. How are you guys preparing to battle Columbus Crew in the defensive style of game?
Well, I think that we're going to go out there and just do what we've been doing, try and play hard, try and keep possession as much as we can, and capitalize on our possessions. We've done so far this season. And it's always just kind of comes down to those key moments of either finishing your chances or defending in those certain moments. So I think we're just gearing up and getting ready and going to be focused come Saturday. How
important is Danny Cruz going to be to this game coming up against the Crew?
Important. I mean, he brings a lot of energy. He kind of brings that question mark in some aspects in terms of creating things out of nothing, and certainly his energy is a big part of this team and what he brings to it.
Conor, we can't let you go without asking you, who was so influential in your life growing up and getting to where you're at today, winning a championship, living a dream that many young kids would love to live? Who has helped you along that path? Was it a parent, a youth coach that believed in you? Who was that?
I mean, there's a lot of people it takes. I was very fortunate to have the support of my parents and coaches throughout my youth. I had a very special coach in Clive Charles at the University of Portland that really, gave me that extra boost to be a there's a lot of people along the way.
And we'll close it with this, Conor. We always want to give a tip out to the kids out there, especially to the kids, Conor, that might be struggling in confidence, that might be on that bench that, they don't get on the good side of their coach and really want to live the dream and be like a Conor Casey one day. What would you want to tell those youngsters that they need to work on?
Well, I mean, you have to be persistent, have to, work hard every day at improving and, understand that not every day it's going to go your way, and you just got to keep at it, and eventually, it's possible to make it.
Conor Casey, a class act, the guy that comes to work each and every game in MLS with the Philadelphia Union. We can't thank you enough for joining us here on Red Card. Good luck this season, and good luck against the Columbus Crew coming up, my friend.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Pleasure to have you on. One of the best in MLS for so many years. The guy is a class act. If you've seen this guy play before, he brings it each and every time he's out there. He never stops. He gives 110%. I've seen it with my own eyes here in Toronto and in other stadiums where I've seen him play. The guy is just unstoppable when he has his mind focused to get that ball on target and in the net. Outstanding guy. Conor Casey of Philadelphia Union. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then coming back, we're going to the west coast of Los Angeles to talk with Scott French of MLSsoccer.com. Talk to him about the LA Galaxy versus Monterrey in a couple hours' time. Stay tuned right here on Red Card.